Hello, everyone. I'm Gopal Krishna Anand, the Associate Editor of Thermal Control Magazine, and I would like to welcome you to our interactive session on engineering cooling technologies for data centers. My colleague, Darshna, who is Assistant Editor of Thermal Control Magazine, will be introducing the panelists and moderate the session. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Ms. Darshna to take over and start the session.
Thank you, Mr. Gopal. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thermal Control Magazine's interactive session on engineering cooling technologies for data centers. To discuss the solutions and technologies, I invite our speakers, Mr. Weber Pitle, Managing Director, India and Southwest Asia, Bellingham, Mr. Ujjwal Singh, Councillor, Green Data Center, CII and IGB Data Center, Mr. Umesh Kale, Business Unit Manager, HCT, Munters, India, Humidity Control, Private Limited. Mr. Sudhir Suryavanshi, Manager, Large Deals, West Zone of Trane India, and Mr. Sailesh Paradkar, Manager, National Sales, HVAC and Data Center, Energy Division of Alpha Laval.
Welcome you all. We are sharing our views on engineering cooling technologies for data centers. Cooling is crucial for data centers to prevent IT equipment damage by high temperatures and humidity. So coming to you, Mr. Sudhir, packing more CPUs and GPUs into each rack is increasing thermal density. Air cooling systems can't cool high density racks. So what is your opinion about liquid cooling options for data centers?
So Gopal, liquid cooling is now basically the new technology that is coming up in the market, and it has its own advantages. And what I understand currently, it's a new technology. It is yet to be established in the market, and it is more or less to be tried and tested. But yes, I would rather say that it is always good to have innovative and new technologies that can support the system and performances.
Thank you, Mr. Sudhir. So what are your comments, Mr. Weber?
Obviously, as the industry has evolved, right, we have seen the adaptation of new technologies in all sphere of business, and data centers also will not be an exception, right? Obviously, the demand for data centers still in India, we are talking about megawatts, but world is talking about much bigger sizes, right? So that evaluation will happen. Now, again, the technology has to be tested. There will be a lot of innovations which have happened. That doesn't mean any of our industries or our companies will be out of business. Obviously, then we also have to adapt and innovate our products, which means towards the market requirement. What I can also say, it's at the design stage, at the concept stage, because obviously the requirement, the heat dissipation from each rack is increasing, right? Because of number of racks that you stack together. So obviously there has to be an alternative medium to air today. And whether it's water, whether it's something else, only time will tell us. But when we talk to consultant, yes, there is a thought process which really goes on in the direction of liquid cooling.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. Yes, definitely the research and investigations are going on for that. So would you like to share your views, Mr. Ujjwal, on liquid cooling options?
We work at IGBC, so we certify most data centers, all the large-scale data centers, clouds, hyperscalers, edge data centers. So there's some insight that I would like to share with you all, guys. First is the liquid cooling now has started getting adopted in the data centers. Recently, not named, but they themselves have published, two of the main players of the industry. They have published that they are having test facilities and they are using it for some of the good applications currently running that we are using nowadays. Liquid cooling only had one major challenges due to which it is not getting adopted in India. In fact, I would say two challenges. One is not a challenge, but that it's basically what you can say is a current scenario that we are operating at 10 kilowatt or below rack densities as on date. That is, I'm talking about 90% of the servers, 90% of the racks. That remaining 10%, we are somewhere in the region of 10 to 50. When we talk about this region of 10 to 50, there are multiple technologies available currently, like rear door heat exchanger, direct to chip liquid cooling. So this part of the liquid cooling, although it is very crucial, and when the stages of 50 kilowatt plus rack density will cross, liquid cooling will has its potential and its dominance in the market. As on now, liquid cooling is mostly used because it is most energy efficient technology in the market. The drawback of liquid cooling or the current challenge is the companies, the IT companies, like all the server manufacturers like Dell, Intel, Lenovo, they don't currently have a system where they can give a first party warranty for the systems that uses liquid cooling. Once that issue is resolved, then you can see a large adoption in India that is going to happen. As on now, I can estimate 2025 will be the year from where the liquid cooling as an adoption will going to increase in a large scale.
So refined liquid adoption is going to increase in the coming days. Also, liquid cooling, as you say, it leverages thermal transfer properties of fluid to support cost-effective cooling of racks. So, Mr. Salish, what are your views about it?
Oh, hi, good afternoon. So we feel liquid cooling is the future of, you can say, cooling technology, and it's promising also. The reason why we say so is basically as we are evolving into higher and higher rack densities, where cooling from air may not be a viable option going forward. And liquid cooling will play its role in terms of, you can say, energy efficiency and sustainability also. You can say the compactness and the kind of evolution in the data capacities we are seeing. Definitely liquid cooling will play its role, but that doesn't mean will necessarily, you can say, completely go away from the air cooling technologies. Those will be also there in certain applications. But yes, as far as liquid cooling is concerned, we see bright future for this technology in coming future. Yeah.
On this, what are your comments, Mr. Umesh?
Thank you so much, Gopalji. First of all, like you have asked a very basic question, like as a humans, we are always trying to find a best alternative solution available in the market, which we can look at that how we can enhance the efficiency of the data centers and achieve the best cooling method, because we want to capture the heat from the source itself where it is getting generated. That's very natural, and liquid immersion cooling is something what we see here is that it's one of the best alternative. But as I echo with it, well, there are mechanical hardware related challenges where the rack providers are not in position to provide this kind of integrated systems where this can remain sustainable for years of operation, and there will not be failure coming when we are directly having the immersion cooling kind of technology adopted. I think that's something which is depending on experts who are into a rack manufacturing. Like, till that time, as an HVAC industry, we will have to look at that, how best we can, let's say that this can be removed with the best of alternative, not directly getting into liquid immersion cooling, but at the same time, there are alternatives which are also energy efficient and try and incorporate them. Till the time we have more sustainable racks available in the market. And just to add on to it, like maybe we are talking about hyperscalers for enterprise or co-location data centers. The world is moving for a model array, while it's moving to edge also. Well, this is also going to be where we may not look forward to have a complex system around. And data center density may be there, but the size of the data center will not be in megawatt. This may be modular array, may be available in short capacity, but closer to end users so that latency is removed. I think that is also going to be in the future. Engineer has to look at what kind of dependencies are available with the age data center industry.
Meanwhile, we have received question. Mr. Prakash Loya, he's asking, what action is being taken by server manufacturer to standardize server air in-out system for cooling? Anybody say?
I believe, I think Gopalji should be in a position to help us out because he is into the business of certification and he is having a lot of idea about what all new technologies are incorporated.
Yes, sir. Currently, I think it will be my mistake to answer you because you hold the most higher position in the knowledge than any of us, maybe. So, but still, I'll try to justify whatever knowledge I have on this one. As you know, that ASHRAE is now moving to a higher bandwidth of 20 to 80. They have gone for humidity and temperature also. They have increased the bandwidth of operations. Any guidelines on the server in and out temperature will now not be of much use because people will follow what the guidelines had been published by ASHRAE in this standard. As on now, what my knowledge says is most servers are designed to take air inlet between 24 or at 24, with some servers going beyond this and going up to 30 degrees Celsius. But I have a limited knowledge on this and I'll not be able to give a very justified answer to this as on now. But I will try to find this answer and mail it to you personally, sir.
Basically, thing is that wherever we are designing data center, server manufacturer, there is no standardization is taking place. Basically, all the server to be designed for front air suction and back discharge. So some servers, I can name the server also. which is having left side entry, right side entry, top discharge, bottom discharge. So lot of hot air and cold air is mixing, and we are not able to maintain anything. So it is not a fault of air conditioning system or system operation and all this thing. Because of non-standard server and all this thing, lot of problem is being faced by the data center owner. Now, as a technical group, we should insist that there should be some standard by which all the data centers should manufacture the server with front entry, backside discharge, or whatever the things are there. Then all the design and everything will be possible, and all system efficiency will improve drastically if standardization is taking place.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing your views. Mr. Salesh, coming to you again. With increasing data resulting in more rack-mounted servers, how do you see its impact upon the data center cooling market?
Okay, just I will take the line from the last question and then I will attach it to this question. Basically, we were talking about the server side standardization regarding the temperatures. Probably all of us know these technologies are getting changed so fast and so rapidly. Even the temperature programs are evolving to, I say, that extent. And so I remember, say, a few years back, we were talking about, can say, air temperature of, 17 to 18 degrees Celsius for these air cooling servers. Now it has reached up to, say, 26, 27 degrees Celsius. So, and it's likely to go, you can say, in a higher temperature range as servers or the chips are becoming more and more sustainable to the higher temperatures. We can assume the cooling load on the servers are going to get reduced as the chips will sustain more higher temperatures. The cooling demand will go down, but at the same time we will also see some opportunity to use the natural resource or free cooling possibilities to be incorporated to cool these you can say servers which are you can say taking the higher temperature. So the free cooling possibilities also will have its potential as the servers will sustain more and more temperatures in the coming future.
Thank you, Mr. Salesh, for answering that. Definitely chips with higher sustainable temperatures, they are coming to the market. But the thing is, water usage is increasing with increasing demand for energy also. So talking about next generation technologies, what potential benefits do you see for evaporative cooling solutions for data centers?
I think I can say adds a lot of benefit, particularly you can say if the temperature allows, the evaporative is more economically viable solution for the, you can say, cooling application. You don't need to run the chillers for generating chilled water and so accordingly cooling the space. Evaporating offers much more, you can say, economical benefit. And as I said, with the increased temperature of this server racks, it also comes into the range of evaporative cooling. Particularly, say, if the location is favorable, like for example in India, like a Pune or Bangalore, where you can say you have much more difference between your dry bulb and wet bulb temperatures. I think evaporative offers excellent benefit, and at much more, you can say, economical perspective, it becomes really viable to take it into this application, basically.
Mr. Umesh, Mr. Salesh is telling you it is more economical and viable alternative. So what are your views on the evaporative cooling?
I mean, absolutely, like this is something which we cannot deny the benefits of evaporative cooling. This is not a new technology. These are available since ancient times. Only thing, like, we try to find a complex answer for a complex situation, complex challenges, which is not necessary. Evaporative cooling was there and will remain there for more sustainable solution to all our challenges. Right now, if you look at this cooling free evaporating, you have a lot of technology which is evolving where we can get the best energy efficiency and the rack temperature itself do not demand the ultra low temperature. I think that's an evaporative cooling and a significant role. And that's why the energy heat removal process, which is taken care of evaporating, is the most cheapest one out there. So I think this is something which undeniably the most promising technology what we have, and we should more explore it. Rather than that, we have a lot of options like direct evaporative cooling or direct indirect evaporative cooling. There are multiple ways of hybrid solutions can be worked around that and can be used for the solutions development. That can be done. In fact, now there are certain alternatives which are available. Evaporative cooling normally comes into having the water as a primary force for the heat removal process. Now there are technologies which are available in the water-less heat removal process. I think this is evolving, but right now, if we look at the most convenient for India kind of for country, we have a evaporative cooling is the best alternative.
Thank you, Mr. Wish. For India, convenient solution has to be there in the future. Coming to Mr. Ujjwal, increasing data uses is increasing load on data centers. We all know. So securing data center side becomes a crucial issue. So what measures can be suggested to contain cyber issues?
Thanks, Gopalji. Before moving forward, I'd like to picture something on the last question that we were discussing. Being from the green data center side, it is my obligation to answer that question as well. So see, using water for evaporative purposes is a trade-off. You are conserving energy and you are using water for it. Until and unless you have a capacity availability in terms of water availability, it's a good technique. If you don't have, you will have to go for alternative solution. I met Umeshji in Ecorex. They had a very good alternative solution that I think they will be showing in the PPT as well. So what I'm telling here is what we are trying at IGBCs, we are trying to educate people how to conserve water so that they can use it for evaporative cooling. Like you can enhance your data center catchment area for rainwater harvesting. You can recycle your water using STPs. You can use government recycled water. And with proper monitoring and water metering, you can manage the requirement of your evaporative cooling without depleting the natural water resources in first place. So there is a solution to it. If you are using that, then you're doing good to environment. But if you are using directly portable water for evaporative cooling, then it might not be a very good thing for the environment in general. You might get a reduced energy bill, but from the environmental perspective, you might be indirectly harming the environment instead. Now coming to the next question. Unfortunately, I'm not a good expert on cyber security, but being a data center, I can tell you more about physical securities of data centers. So what I can see as a new trend in the market, in my experience, was there are few technologies that have now gained momentum and has now been adopted in general for all data centers. One is RFID tagging. All the servers, any equipment that is going in your data center will have an RFID tag. You can track from its location when it moved to a certain room, when it moved out of it. There's complete inventory controlled by data center operators nowadays. Access control has now become a very intelligent in itself. It can tell you where the person is, when it moved in, when it moved out. If there is a wrong entry tried inside, it will generate a warning. There's a practice in all data centers that every week or mostly every fortnight, they evaluate all the wrong entries and they check whether somebody has tried to do something wrong or ill in the data center, and they can catch. So
RFID technologies and other things are there. So Mr. Weber, what are your comments upon this?
One of the important aspects is obviously transparency of data, right? And that's what we always say when it comes to field devices, which is predominantly where we operate, right? Now, at the field device level, what we ensure is the data transparency is provided to the data centers who are operating data centers, right? Now, again, on the cyber security, I'm not the expert, but obviously at the BMS level, when this data is transmitted, there are not only the hardware logs, but obviously the software logs to ensure the data remains in the domain, right? Now, there are companies which also provide data on the cloud. So are we. Obviously, there are internal rules and regulations of every data center company which allows and doesn't allow the data to publish outside their domain. And obviously, again, the firewall technology from the software perspective have also evolved. Our UPI payments are on similar lines, right? Today, we are able to do GPay or the bank transaction because there are firewall which protects, right? It's not, I'm not saying there are not cyber attacks, but obviously we today have the peace of mind of doing such transactions online. The similar is with data centers where they have not only what we say a tracking system, but also a closed loop monitoring system in terms of the flow of data and the flow of information, which is also closed net. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Weber. Close monitoring has to be there to contain such issues. So, gentlemen, alternative cooling options and technologies will be required to manage the heat generated by computing servers and other systems, with increasing data accumulating every day.